This short film has been produced for the benefit of tenants and lessees of residential properties within the London Borough of Bromley, and it will outline a major choice you may soon have. During the next few minutes, we'll be explaining what this choice is and how it could change the way your property is owned, managed and maintained, and also how it could affect the amount of rent you will pay. It's your home and your choice. Government restrictions and changes in housing law are reducing the council's ability to and improve existing ones. Bromley now has no further plans for any new council housing. Because the money the council has been reduced, major repairs and improvement works may have to be delayed, or a greater proportion of the cost of such works will have to be met from the rent that you pay. Rents last year rose by 15%. This year, there'll be a further 21% rise. That's an increase of more than a third in only 2 years. Councillor Dear of Bromley Council.
One alternative to increasing your rent is for the Housing Committee to cut back on the amount it spends on housing. For example, in the areas of repairs or maintenance or the other services that the Housing Committee provides. In recent years, the Housing Committee has provided some new sheltered accommodation and some major improvements to estates such as this one we see here at the Groves. However, projects to install new central heating and double glazing have been postponed, and major improvements to other estates have also been put back as money has become more restricted. These problems and their effects have led the council to give you the choice of remaining as a council tenant or becoming a tenant of a housing association which is sponsored by the council. We reached this decision after much debate, having looked at all the possible disadvantages of the transfer, including the fact that transfer is a one-way ticket and that the association the council. However, the council is convinced that transfer to a sponsored housing association is the best possible way forward for all concerned. But it's your choice.
So what exactly is a housing association? And what does it offer you as a tenant? Well, for a start, it's a completely non-profit-making organisation which provides rented housing in the same way as a local authority. The council uses the money it collects from rents to repair and maintain the properties that you live in. So too does a housing association. But housing associations are able to borrow money more freely than councils to pay for major repair and improvement works. They can also spend all of the money they raise from house sales, whereas Bromley Council. As with councils, a housing association also employs full-time staff to handle day-to-day administration, including your queries. These are typical properties in Tunbridge, which were previously owned and maintained by the local authority. Here, tenants voted in favour of transferring to a housing association.
We're very glad that the houses have been taken over by the Tunbridge and Moorland Housing Association. 2 reasons. One, the home improvements which are going to take place on all the houses, and secondly, the rent will be cheaper under the housing association than what it will be the council.
In another area in Kent, Canterbury, tenants voted against transferring to a new housing association. You too will have the choice in Bromley. It will be up to the majority of tenants to decide in just the same way as in Canterbury and Tunbridge whether you stay with the council or transfer to a housing association. The old English way of spelling Bromley is Broomley, and it's this name that's been chosen for the new housing association in Bromley. Broomley has a total of 15 people on its board of management, all of whom are residents of the borough. A third of the team has been nominated by the Federation of Bromley Council Tenants. There are 3 councillors, 1 from each of the main political parties, and the remaining 7 members are people with professional skills that have a direct relation to housing, finance, and the successful management of business. All members are unpaid volunteers. The aim of the new housing association is quite simply to provide affordable homes for rent in the area. To protect your own interests, Broomley intends to be registered with the Housing Corporation. This is a government body which monitors associations like Broomley to ensure that they are properly run and that standards are maintained. So what can you expect if you choose Broomley to manage your housing? Arthur Kitson, Bromley's Chief Housing Officer.
Broomley Housing Association will be totally independent of Bromley Council. And as well as the rent it receives, it can get grants from the council, from the Housing Corporation, and it can also borrow. The association intends to continue the policies and programmes of improvement such as the installation of entry phones as well as central heating systems. Broomley Housing Association will be able to guarantee its rent levels for the next 4 years and is confident that these rent levels will be lower than those projected by the council.
The number of rented council homes is falling as more people buy their own home from Bromley Council. Housing associations try to replace these by buying further houses or building new ones. As a housing association tenant, you'll still be entitled to purchase with the same discount under the Right to Buy scheme. You will not be moved from your home, and your home cannot be repossessed simply because you become a housing association tenant. Under a housing association, your rights will be similar to those you enjoy now, but not exactly the same. This is because you'll have an assured tenancy, which gives you fewer rights. However, the housing association will give you a contract to bring your rights broadly into line with those you have at the moment. The council will still deal with homeless people by assessing their needs and then nominate tenants to a housing association. Should you need to deal with anybody at the association, the chances are you'll recognize many of the people from the council, because it's likely that most of the staff, including estate management officers and wardens, will be the same as those you deal with now. Arthur Kitson.
The council's responsible for a whole range of services, so it can't concentrate in the way Broomley will, just on housing, and that makes a difference. And what about specific policies? As a non-profit making organisation, Broomley's central policy is to use all income from rents, grants and other sources to maintain and improve the conditions in the home whilst keeping rents as low as possible. Whilst Bromley Council can carry out improvement programmes, as can the Housing Association, they have a greater effect on rents under Bromley than under the association. Housing associations just aren't subject to the same financial rules as councils, and so they're in a much better position to build houses like the ones behind me for people who want to rent. We want to do everything we can so that you understand exactly what choices are available. There will be more newsletters and meetings with personal visits for those tenants who are unable to attend the meetings, all to ensure that every tenant has been made fully aware of the choice available.
Good morning, Housing Transfer Helpline. How can I help you?
There's a 24-hour free phone helpline to answer any queries you might have, and if you're in any way worried and want completely impartial advice, this is available free.
It's your home and your choice.